You're welcome to the Naija Filmmaker, a podcast about Nigerian filmmakers, their films, and how we can build a diverse and functional industry. If you're a new listener, you're welcome and I hope you enjoy.
Today, I'm your guest host, Mr. C from Iroko Critic. And if you're wondering where Sele is, come your nerves, he's here too. Today is a special episode. We're going to be talking about Finding Idara. And we have two guests today. One of them is the usual host, Sele, and with me also is the person who plays Idara Blessing. Please, can both of you introduce yourself and tell us your relation with Finding Idara, like what role you play in the web series. Let's start with Blessing, please.
Okay, hi. My name is Blessing Uzero. As earlier mentioned, I played the role of Idara, the lead role in Finding Idara. Yeah.
Okay, and Sarah, how many hats are you wearing for this project?
I mean, I didn't bother counting, but yeah, I'm Sele Got, the director, producer, co-writer, editor, colorist, and maybe something else that I've missed.
Amazing. Is that because of cost, or is that because of was that a creative decision or a combination of the two?
I mean, I think, okay, yeah, I missed DOP, but yeah, I think DOP came down to costs. Largely, yeah, is because of costs. You know, like for me, there's something that, you know, working with other people brings, and it's always tricky trying to, you know, get people to come on a project. Like, if the reality is that there's no money, and unless something else is motivating the person, then yeah, I might as well just do it myself and get the result at the end.
And that actually makes sense. I've recognized that this is quite the standard now for a lot of up and coming filmmakers. If you're going to get your work out there with the cheapest kind of cost, is to learn how to do a lot of things yourself. Blessing, how did you come out? How did you get to do this role? Do you remember your journey? It's been actually very interesting just following what I can see of your career in terms of like the auditions and your challenges, and I see you go on Rattlesnake, the Rattlesnake Challenge. Can you tell us, like, sort of give us a snapshot of your journey from essentially the non-actor before you got on screen to find the Finding Idara project?
Okay, so it started initially with stage back in school. So yeah, the love or passion for acting rather grew on stage before I got like my first role in school, and I was like, oh, you know, I could really do this. You know, I could also go into film as well. And after that first role, the next thing was the challenge, the Rattlesnake Challenge, which you saw. So after school, I jumped on that immediately because that was like right after school. So I jumped on that knowing that, you know, I'd already developed this love and say passion for acting and everything. I jumped right on the Rattlesnake Challenge, and surprisingly to me, I was part of the winners, the top 3. So that was like my first major gig. So I was really excited and everything. And yeah, that was a push also, I'd say, for me. So it was from there, it was just anything you feel like you can jump on. And yeah, so I came across Sele on another set, and then I went for his audition for Finding Idara, and yeah, I'd say fortunately for me, I was selected as to play the lead role, and yeah. Nice, but it's been a smooth ride, I'd say. It's been a smooth ride.
You would say it's a smooth ride.
Yeah,
That's not something I often hear in
yeah,
Nollywood.
exactly. Contrary to what other people think, for me, it's been like a smooth ride because I've had a lot of support, um, family, friends, everybody I've known that has been in the film industry has just been one form of push for me, and yeah. So, contrary to really what people think, I'd say for myself that it's been quite smooth. I mean, they're down times. Don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, it's been quite smooth. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, was there a particular thing, not to put you on the spot,
Mm.
but was there a particular thing that you saw during Blessing's audition that made you go, yeah, this is what I'm looking for in my direct character?
Um, I mean, like, I think maybe two reasons. So, first of all, like Blessing kind of fits the look and the age bracket that I was looking for, and I guess another thing was this kind of, I guess, certainty in kind of reading out lines and I guess basically acting. So there are people that don't that when they're doing auditions they don't like kind of own those words. So yeah, like
Mm.
was looking for somebody that can, kind of carry on this character. Part of it is owning the words, making it yours. And yeah, like I saw that during Blessing's audition.
Yes, we'll get to some of the. Actually, we'll get to the performances from because I've seen the series and I thought you were very very good in it, Blessing. And
Thank you very much.
I can't really wait to see where your career goes from here in terms of the trajectory. I like the trajectory, son, and I can only see you getting even like getting more and more roles. But before we even go into all of that, Sele, web series. Why web series for a start? And also, did you notice that all of the web series, your web series peers are usually doing romantic stuff? What made you go for like a this different route with like a mystery, almost like a whodunit type thing?
Yeah, so I mean, web series. I mean, like I've done a lot of shorts. I've been on a lot of short film projects. Whether directing it, producing it, just doing different crew roles, and yeah, like I wanted something different. And I mean, the plan with even the funders for this finding Idara was, to build, like lay the foundation for something, and you cultivate the audience in the first season, and you keep making stuff and carry them along. Um, for me, like choosing the genre, like I would say first of all, like I've always loved police procedural, so I was always going to like kind of find a way to put some form of police in the whole story, and kind of some of the directors that I look up to. I mean, part of it is kind of me liking psychological drama, just exploring the human mind, how, people relate with each other and all that. And yeah, it fascinates me. And um, to be honest, like, yeah, rom-com is there. And, well, I've seen a lot of it in the Nigerian space. And yeah, for me, I don't think I have anything to offer there. I don't have much to offer. And, just, yeah, I guess staying true to myself and, trying to do this. And yeah.
Okay. No, that's actually it's a breath of fresh air anyway for some of us who watch a lot of these things. Well, I say some of us. I don't consume too much web series, but the ones I have, and I like a couple of these web series, but like there's certainly been a gap in there. Some of them are started coming up. We've started seeing a couple, but it's good to have diversity. So thanks for this. Could you just even give us like a broad snapshot of like the premise of finding Idara?
Okay, so yeah, like Finding Idara basically a story about a youth copper. She goes to camp and she meets these different people, and yeah, there's an incident and she goes missing. And then yeah, we have Inspector Uzero, who is the police officer, who kind of makes it a deal to like get to the root of everything and find out what really happened to Idara, exploring how missing person cases are treated in Nigeria, and fusing that with a very relatable experience for many people, which is National Youth Service. Yeah, like I thought that was unique, and yeah, I thought it would be great to explore.
It's funny you mentioned relatable to one of the only people who hasn't done youth service yet. However, because I was seeing Mrs. C at the time, when the love was still sweet, when the love is still sweet, you're like messaging, you're giving the download of everything that is going on at that time. Yeah. So it was actually very interesting for me to almost feel like, I know a lot of the things that are going on here, which I was actually shocked by, because number one, I couldn't remember all of those. I wasn't sure I remembered all of those. So her experiences as she had described them. But what was it about? Is there something for you, Blessing? What was it like putting on the dreaded khakis? I imagine sometime after. Did this trigger some suppressed memories? Was it just yes, I'm back in this character? What was it like?
It definitely triggered memories, from the E19 camp, and I think that was one of the reasons why I was able to really soak myself into this character, because pretty much who Idara was in the series is pretty much who I was, just by myself, two friends. Although, like, in reality, in my case, it was, two girls. But in finding Idara, it was pretty much very relatable. And I was able to, like, soak myself into this character because she was like me. I was just... And plus, I'm a risk taker and everything. So, like, I really love risk and everything. So it was pretty much fun to find myself in that khaki again. So yeah, it did trigger memories.
That's actually interesting that you see yourself as a risk taker, because I look at having seen the series, and I don't want to give away anything at all, because the mystery is part of the fun of watching it. But there are certain traits that Idara has that I don't know, loosely know in you. There's this like almost grind that they both have. I don't, obviously, the rattlesnake challenge is not the only one. I imagine you had done at the time. I think you also did a King of Boys one, yes?
Yes.
Yes. So like in terms of like this grind that. Also, like I think I saw in Idara, what was it like, sort of drawing experiences from your sort of life to breathe into a character like Idara? Because I think like it really shows in a lot of the small things. I think the writing allows you to do it as well, but like there are ways that, I'm not joking, and this might seem silly to some people listening, but like there's a way that Blessing even reads books where I feel like, oh no, like this person isn't, like this person is number one actually reading the book, but like there's a grind behind the personality behind, like, and I've seen you in other things. I've seen you in a couple of shorts. Like I just haven't seen you like I have seen you in this series. So essentially, what I'm asking, the question is like, were there things you drew from your personal life to put into the character?
Yeah.
And the short answer is there was yes. Okay.
Yes.
So that one thing I noticed about the show is the casting choice. Like almost every lead character, I guess, is very distinct. Like I think you could probably say something. If I was going to describe any one of them, there's like 2 words or 3 words you could use to like pick one person out. Like, oh, the one with the deep voice. The super soldier. Like that kind of thing. Like, was that part of? Is this like was that intentional in the casting, or was that just a stroke of luck?
Yeah, like like even with the characterization, we had like different archetypes we wanted to work with, and for the casting, it was kind of really important that these people, you're looking at them first time you're looking at them, and you kind of immediately believe that these people are in this situation, rather than it's taking a lot of convincing. And like it was really key for me. All these building blocks, they kind of come together to create this character. And like with the casting, I really wanted to get some of that work done there with the casting.
Okay. Blessing, is there anything you sort of learned from your experience on set shooting with this, whether it be something more, something like I don't know, skill set within a skill, or something you just learned about yourself in the process of shooting?
Learned about myself, I'd say, but generally in the whole set, I really learned about the importance of togetherness, because that's one thing that was very, very prominent on on the set of Finding Idara, and it brought about progress, quick progress and everything. And it was really something for me, because I had been on other sets prior to that, and how things can just really get disorganized, and you have one thing planned out for your set, and then during production things are just going AY and everything. But the way everybody's hands were just down on everything, from makeup to set design to everything, it was just on point. And that was because of the togetherness that I just mentioned. And that really stood out for me, and I just learned the importance and how far it helps a lot.
I also noticed that you for some of the short you did before that, you wrote that. Are you still interested in writing, or is that just part of the creating work for yourself type of thing, or is that something you're interested in doing in the long term?
Yeah, definitely. It's something I'm definitely interested in. I have a whole lot of things written down, just hiding in my system. But
now I have to ask you, because now I guess I have 2 writers in front of me, and given that you've the work you've just been on, were there things that you picked up, or was this something that tickled you from any of the writing in the Finding Idara? I don't know. It's difficult to talk about this, because obviously someone is trying not to spoil certain things. We've given the premise, and that's all. But I'm just curious whether there was anything that you found interesting.
And definitely during Finding Idara, there were things almost I was already seeing the future in my mind. I was almost already writing season 2 for Sele, because there's just a lot of things that could come out of just looking for Idara, even without the presence of Idara, just a lot of things, shady, ugly, good things that could come out of it. And let's just say I was even ahead of Finding Idara whilst on set.
That sounds like a good when somebody gets so involved in the world, and they start looking out, looking to outside of it. In fact, not just looking to outside of it, that they can see past the actual writing that you've done. I think that's a high praise, and that's sort of one of the things I was thinking about, because by the time it ends, uh, everybody will be thinking, well, people who have watched it to the end will certainly be thinking about a season two. Do you have anything in the works at all? Are you going to be one of those people that just breaks hearts after we finish watching a season and you're like, oh, we're waiting for the next one and it never comes out? Do you have things in the works, or do you want does this need to do well?
In a larger sense, like this was kind of like a proof of concept, so there was always going to be a season two. Basically, I'm like weeks away from like starting the workshop for that. Of course, like I have to raise funding and all that, and I hope I'll do it in a swift fashion. But yeah, like definitely there's a season two, and yeah, hopefully it comes sooner than later.
Right. So, I mean, like funding is actually an interesting part of doing web series, because this is something that, is, people are not going to, it's free for everyone who wants to watch, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody who wants to watch it, you just go on YouTube and watch it for free. So, are we hoping for, is this ad revenue from YouTube, or are we hoping, is there other source, like just for somebody who might be wanting to do this in the future? Maybe it's there's a small seller, upcoming seller, thinking about writing a web series, or even maybe a blessing thinking about writing things like what's that like in terms of financing and funding a series that you plan to put on the web series essentially for free?
Yeah, I think I mean it depends on what like different people want, but like for me, I mean the YouTube ad revenue is by the side, is not the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean I don't know where season 2 is going to go to, but yeah, basically different people like kind of were suggesting that I could go to different streaming services, but what was quite important for me was to make this like available for everybody to watch. Again, while building this world, you want people to catch up as fast as they can, in preparation for the next thing. And yeah, for me, like I'm just going to like employ a lot of different, fundraising techniques, whether it's brand placements and all that, but I think there's no point discounting any particular tactic in raising funds, whether it's the investors or the business atmosphere. Whatever is going to disappoint you will disappoint you, so you shouldn't start reducing your options from the beginning. But yeah, I'll definitely say that starting stuff out, at some point you might just need to fund it yourself. There's the momentum, there's a momentum that you build with like being on the move, starting something. It's easier for people to come on board rather than you just being in one place. Oh, I want to do this, it's quite different from actually doing it.
Okay. Yeah. What was the location for doing this? Because like it really gave off that again, as somebody who has never served, but like this is exactly what I pictured sort of camp, the service part of camp to look like. So what were the location? I think you shot in ABJ, right?
Yeah.
Or parts of it in ABJ.
Yeah, we shot everything in ABJ.
Okay. Yeah, it has some. It's very nice to see really beautiful landscapes for the parts that unfortunate things happen in this series, but very beautiful where it happens. Was that what was that like shooting in? Have you shot in locations like that, Blessing, before, like in terms of like in just the the wild,
The
not quite the
wilderness.
wild, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
It's not
understand.
common like we get those kind of things. Usually we're shooting indoors
Yeah.
inside rooms.
Yeah, no, actually, finding Idara was, was was what took me to that type of set location. I've never actually, and that's like one of the beautiful things about, acting. You just get to be in like different places and different personalities, and it takes you out of yourself for a bit. And yeah, that Stella's finding Idara that was what took me to the wild, quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah, and what were the like what's the exact place you used? The place that looked like domes. Were they actually domes? Because certainly gave dome vibes.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, we shot across like four area councils. That's like local government. So that's Kuje, Buari, and the main Abuja municipal. But for the camp location, yeah, that was an actual secondary school, and I mean it's still the same vibe, Not a lot of caretaking, just the basics, and yeah. But yeah, like again for me, like I really wanted the locations to feel real. I could have taken this movie to shoot in a, like, would I say, a posh secondary school, and to not feel the same, you know. Basically,
Mhm.
like, National Youth Service is essentially like about survival,
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
make the most with what you see, and
Maybe that's part of why I also related to it. At least
yeah,
I have that experience.
yeah.
Okay, so I was asking whether was there problems with getting permissions to shoot there, or was that smooth sailing type of thing?
Yeah, so like so because, yeah, I produced, so what I tried to do was just kind of get everything sorted before we started shooting. But you know, we didn't have backup locations, so I think we're kind of
Mm.
lucky, trying, like, just getting those locations and securing it and maintaining those relationships. Yeah, nothing. We didn't misbehave ourselves or something. So yeah, we pretty much retained
Okay.
everything, and yeah, we successfully shot at the different locations that um we got. I mean, for one or two, we probably snuck into shoot. We didn't follow
All right.
um official
Guidelines.
guidelines. So yeah, it's yeah, we'll do
It's
anything
Okay.
part
to
of it.
get the results.
It's part of the experience. Okay, it's at this point where I said this, but who knows? Where Sele usually touches his guests by asking them three random things about them. Just blessings so that you have some time. I'm going to ask Sele first. Sele, can you give us three random true things about you that people don't usually know?
Okay. I mean, I've been asking these questions, but I never
Yeah,
thought.
you've been asking this question for like a whole season, so I expect you to know.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So yeah, the first fact is that I speak French. Okay.
Oui, oui.
We. All right. What else? What do people usually say when I ask them?
If it's a guy will be like, yeah, I know how to cook. Yeah,
Mm,
I can cook. Um, I just watched listening
okay.
to Diddy's song.
Yeah, like, I like reading a lot. Last year I read about 84 books, which I'll never do again.
What?
84.
84 books.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
I don't
then
know how you keep track of that, but okay.
yeah, Goodreads. That's how I keep track.
Oh,
The
okay, of course,
final
of course.
fact is hmm,
Blessing, happy you're thinking of yours.
Oh well.
How do you feel? This is where you put your it gets through.
Okay, so yeah, in another life, I was kind of like a therapist.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. No,
raking
that's
up
nice.
like
Nice.
more than 1,000 hours. So
More than thousand hours.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I mean, some of my
Didn't
guests have said
actually know
that,
that.
after, recording their episodes on the Naija Filmmaker, they felt like they just went to therapy.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Things are beginning to fall into place. All right. Okay, blessing.
Um,
3 random strange facts about you.
Strange. I wouldn't say they're strange, but yeah. I mean, it's just what I could think of. And I could only think of two for now. But yeah, hopefully whilst I'm saying this, the third one comes up. But the first one is I'm I'm an introvert, and why that is strange because most people always see me outside, always see me like doing something outside, my personal space. But yeah, I'm I'm actually like an extreme introvert. I love my personal space. I know it's kind of like in contrast with what acting really is. But yeah, when I'm not acting, when I'm not on set, when I'm not working, I am yeah, I'm definitely an introvert. I don't I like the outside life, but just quiet spaces basically. Then second thing is what people don't know. I'm very so I'm very flexible. Been really, really with production that would help me to show this to the world, or something that requires compact, or just something basically that would help me show this part of me, my flexibility. And yeah, and you mentioned one earlier that a lot of people don't know, because a lot of people see the actor and they don't really see the writer side of me. So yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. We'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll let you off with that. By the way, 100% believe you're an introvert. Although like maybe before, just now seeing you, I guess, but maybe yeah. If you just see her, you know what? Idara probably gives us. It's difficult to know actually. You guys are just going to have to watch it and see yourself. But yes, but given see you now, 100% believe. But do you also do modeling? Is that something you do as a job or
Yes,
kind
yes.
of thing?
Yeah, so
See,
I
there's just
mean,
many things about you just coming out. Is that something is that just something also like to do whilst you um, hopefully catch more acting or writing gigs, or is that also just something you really you're into and you want to do also going forward in the
um,
long term?
modeling really just hit me on the face. I was not I was not really aware. It's just from oh, I'd like you to, model for my brand, and then before you know it, I'm putting up like rate cards and everything. But yeah, it really just hit me in the face, whilst I was acting, and yeah, it's also something I enjoy too on the side.
Yeah, something and this is to go to not just your looks, you're a very beautiful person. Also, whilst I was watching Finding Idara, I was like, if there's a Genevieve biopic in the next few years and you don't get picked, the casting director should be fired,
I've gotten a
straight
lot of
away.
that too. I have.
Yes, right. Of course, you've gotten a lot of that. Like, I dare anyone to watch this and not think that. And like I said, it's not just because of the looks. I think that there's something about there's your more quiet mannerisms in the acting, the style of the acting, especially in Finding Idara, that really reminds me a lot of like prime Genevieve. Um, so I guess that there's no real question there. That's just a comment. But
Okay.
I guess like well, you've had that you've had that before, I presume.
Yes, yes, a lot. I have.
Okay. All right. Um, Sele, what were some of the things that came across on set that you probably weren't expecting? Like, were there any challenges, or were there any like things that went more smoothly than expected, uh, that you just weren't expecting to go in such direction?
Hmm.
Or do people even have expectations when shooting in Nigeria? Is it just like you go in with blank slate and you're like, look, whatever comes my way, I take it.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're like planning for something like this, if you don't deal with stuff in pre-production, it definitely comes up. And like for me, I at some point that I was even considering like, oh, I might not shoot a lot of stuff because shooting in Nigeria is stressful. Like for me, I feel in the world there are more efficient ways of doing this thing. Why do I have to do it at such a rudimentary level here? So anything that is going to kind of make my life easier, I do it. So again, like I'm this kind of person that I plan for the worst. So um, that kind of helped with finding Idara, and definitely surprises, because we needed like a set of extras in two very different locations. Um, trying to get those people to keep coming back, because again, you're basically what we did was we went to this environment, and then yeah, we kind of sourced our extras, and when we needed to go to another location, trying to get them invested. Again, it's a low budget
Mm.
project. That was definitely tricky. That was definitely tricky, and I mean, you learn practical lessons, and your intuition tells you stuff. So I think it's about listening to your intuition, and people around you also would point out some stuff to you. So I think it's also about like listening to those people. But I'd say, man, we didn't have any option. We just had to like get finding a diary made. So you know we showed up late to set. Everybody picked up the slack, and we got what we needed to get to. Yeah, everybody just showed up. We're all in the trenches, and I think that was what was important. Important, not that one person was sitting commanding everybody around, and yeah, we were hydrating ourselves, eating well, and all that. And I think you just try to look for ways to motivate people. Once people are motivated, they can do anything. And yeah, that's what I've learned, and I'll keep carrying it into future projects. Yeah.
Okay. Blessing, you confessed here live on okay, not live for people listening, but on the Naija Filmmaker podcast that you are an introvert. How have you ever thought about what happens if your career goes well, as I believe that it will? How you deal with being famous, and is that something that worries you?
Yes, definitely. It definitely worries me. But yeah, I've thought about it a lot actually. And a part of me still says you'd be able to cope, but the introvert says, "Are you sure about this?" And that's one thing that is really clashing with my career, like who I am right now, and I'm just thinking to myself, and but basically for now I have an objective, and whilst running towards it, I just say, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
So
Um,
your
that
introversion, is it like, are you an ambivert, or you're on the introversion side?
Definitely the introversion side,
okay.
because it's like,
The therapist is out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd say. But I mean, we'll just cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay. I'd have to ask, but like, are there any um, who are the people in Nollywood's type of work that you admire? It doesn't have to be an actor or a big star, even, or like it could just be a crew member, or maybe even someone on a personal relationship. Are there people out there that like, that, yeah, you are just wowed by either their skill or their personhood?
For
Uh,
the
I can't.
Yeah, for the longest time,
Yeah, go on, blessing.
it's been
Mm.
Adesoa. Um, yeah, Adesola Wellington. So it's just basically her style of acting, and she's taught me a lot via YouTube. She probably doesn't know me. I wish to see her one day, but like yeah, she's taught me a lot via YouTube, and her style of acting as well. Her authenticity when she's acting, like natural. She's very natural, and everything is what I really carry, with me. And yeah, she's one person I also look up to as an actor. And in terms of work, yeah, workspace, I'd say Ramsey, Ramsey Noah, and because not this is because I worked with him, not worked with him, but I've been on set with him, and I was fortunate to intern as well with him. And work wise, I'd say Ramsey, yeah, actor, director, Ramsey, producer as well, yeah.
Okay. Sele, what about you?
What about me? Have I thought about this? Hey.
You had the whole of blessings answer to think of one. I don't even feel sorry for you.
I mean, I'd say again, it's not meant to be a definitive answer or a deep answer, but I would say just going off what Blessing has said, I would say Ramsey Noah with his directing just feels like he has a good handle on everything that is happening, and with how the performances come across, and I guess communicating with his team, the cinematographer and everybody, and yeah, like it's something that I admire because yeah, in Nollywood, things go wrong.
A lot.
You prepare and you're in the right mental space, but before your eyes, things will just start
Exactly.
falling apart. Yeah, so to maintain
Yeah.
to maintain that organization and for it to show on screen. Yeah. What was the name of this movie? Living in Bondage, the remake. Like yeah, that was really special. Like I think it's the only Nollywood movie. Maybe I've not been paying attention, but like the chemistry between again I don't know the characters. Yeah, Munachi and Jide Kene. Yeah. That was like special. Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. And worth asking the final Sele question, which is if Nollywood is doing really well, it's been coming up and it's been showing a lot of progress in the last few years. If there was one thing you think Nollywood could do better at, what would it be? So that we can start with you.
I mean, I have a lot of answers, but the one I'll go with is I would say they should with their stories they should really like be very open-minded. There's a lot of possibilities. Life is very colorful. But like there are certain Nollywood tropes that we've seen over and over again, and yeah, life is out there. Life is very rich. Infuse that into like the different aspects of your story. It's quite important for writers to kind of be open-minded. I like to see more nuanced, exciting characters, and yeah, that can only be captured like from the writing. If it's never on the script, it will never show up in the movie. So yeah, I think we should take more time to develop complex characters, because human beings are complex. It's not about black and white. There's like probably 1,001 shades of gray. Yeah.
That's right. And for you, Blessing, what are the things that what is the thing, if you could, like sort of click it, snap your fingers tomorrow and fix it in Nollywood, what would that thing be?
I definitely agree with Sele as regards story. I feel like we should be more open-minded and take risks with our storylines, because Nigeria is a very say colorful country, and speaking figuratively, yeah, it has a lot of sides that a lot of people need to see, not just Nigerians. I feel like we should think more out of the box. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like this recent film, Ilewo, was worth my time, because I feel like it showed a part of Nigeria that, it's not really being out there, except like these very, I don't know how to put it now. I'm trying to be very careful with my words. But yeah, the quote unquote juju part of Nigeria and everything, and the diversity, the colorfulness and everything, I feel like it was worth it for me. So I feel like we should just think more out of the box and be more open-minded with our storylines. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you both for doing this. I have to say, as someone who I rewatched Finding Idara last night, just in preparation for this. I thought I was going to do just a couple of episodes. I ended up doing the whole season. So that's just a testament to how much really, and you said it before, so world building going on in there. It really does draw you in, and I'd encourage maybe people to go find it on YouTube. So then is there, I know, like if you type in Finding Idara, I think I had to type in Finding Idara, maybe Nollywood, for it to come up in the first thing. But like, is there a specific YouTube page you want people to go to find it?
So I think the fastest way to get there is with the Instagram profile, which is Placebo Pictures. Yeah, so the YouTube channel is there, but I think if you type Placebo Finding Idara, you'll get it. And final words. I really appreciate Blessing for bringing Idara's character to life, and you need to go and watch it to find out whether we ever found Idara. But she set up this kind of perfect character for season 2 to continue, and I really enjoyed that collaboration, and I really hope we get the chance to work together in the future.
Yeah, same goes for me. Yeah. I really hope we get to work together in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Do you guys want to drop in your socials? If people want to follow you guys up and find you, where can we find you? Because that would be Blessing, because if people don't know where to find Sele, I don't know how they're listening to this podcast, to be honest.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram, Uzero_B. That is UZERO_B. And Blessing Uzero on Twitter, and same as Facebook. Yeah.
And
okay.
for me, on almost every social media platform there is, you can find me at Sele Got Film. And that's also a website, so .com.
Amazing. And I'm Mr. C from Iroko Critic, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me there as well. Thank you very much, guys. And back to you. It will be back to normal.
All right. Thanks, Mr. C.
Always welcome. I'm always around. Who knows? Maybe Blessing helps write season 2. We'll see.
Who knows? All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have come to the end of this episode. Remember to rate and review the podcast. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Sele Got Film, and the podcast at the Naija Film Pod to share your feedback. You can now support the podcast by visiting the website to donate. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.